Okay. Good evening, everyone. So here we are with our lecture number 2. So in the previous lecture, we have already covered HTML, hypertext markup language. We have seen about different tags we have used over there, right? Then we have seen that how to create a table in HTML, what is table heading, what is table data, what is table draw, that we have covered. Then the form section, that how to add labels in a form, how to create a button, through that we can submit our form. That things we have already covered, right? And in today's topic we are basically going to cover about CSS part, cascading style sheets. So I have already told you that HTML is basically a s- skeleton, right? For designing part, we use the CSS, and for logical part, we use JavaScript. So today we will cover CSS, basic part of CSS, that what is basically CSS, how it styles and design HTML elements. So without wasting our time, let me share my screen first. Okay. What we will do, we will go to our VS Code, and in the same section where we have written the HTML code, the previous class code is there. I will just erase this from here. Okay, we'll start fresh today. So for that, okay, just a second. There's the file structure and end. Okay, new boilerplate is there. Every one of you are now familiar with this boilerplate. So first of all, what we are going to cover today, let's discuss on that. Basically, we will see different type of CSS, that how many types of CSS are there: inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. We will cover in depth that what are these three types of CSS, how they are appended to a file, how to just execute a particular command based on that. Okay. After this, we will cover that how we can style up using a selector, using a ID, using a class, then how to change the font size, how to change the length, width of an image, something like that. We will see all the designing part in today's session. Okay, so as we have to do some styling part, right? That should only happen on a particular element. So suppose right now if I just create a h1 tag over here, okay, and I write hello world. All of you are familiar that this is the plain text like h1 heading, which we basically see through our browser. If I just go over here, you can, okay, wait. Yeah, you can see here that hello world is coming, right? Okay, it, yes. So hello world is now coming over here. But same thing, if I have to do a bit of designing part over here, that I have to change the color of this hello world. Like right now it is coming in black font. I want it to be green. I want it to be red. I want it to be uh, in minimum like size of 30 pixels, 40 pixels, that I can do through CSS part. So we are basically going to see that in today's session. So first of all, we have to know about how we can add CSS to the existing element. One way is to use inline CSS. One way to do is internal CSS, and the other one is of external CSS. Everything will be clear to you as we move further. Okay, so inline CSS. First, we are going to see about inline CSS, right? So just a second. Inline CSS is first topic for today's session. Now, as the name is suggesting, inline means in a line where you are using your HTML element, and the same line you want some styling part. Okay, so the inline CSS start where there is your element. Where is your HTML tag? You can use the style keyword over there. You can add properties like color. Just a second. Like suppose I have to add color part over here. Okay. So color to be red, for example. And if I just close this, what I have done, I am using inline CSS to change the color of my hello world, which is by default black right now in our output screen, to red. For that, what I have done, I have appended the style keyword with the attribute color and its value as red, so that it can change the color of my hello world in this h1 tag to red. If we move to, just a second, I have to restart it. Okay, so are you able to see now the hello world basically coming here is not in black color? Okay, it is red in color. How we have done it? We have done it using inline CSS. So basically, inline CSS means that whenever you are declaring any tag, whenever you are initiating any tag, just append the style property over there. If you have to add multiple styles within a single inline tag, then you can use semicolons to separate them. Like what I have done, I have set it the value of color to be red, and I want that I can also change the font size. So for doing that, you have to use font hyphen size, and inside it you have to give them the value in pixels. In pixel means it's up to you that you want to give to 25 pixels. So for that use px for pixel. Okay. So just see that what font size will basically do. If I refresh it, so right now it is not clearly visible that what is happening through font size. Let me change it to 125. Okay. So you can see now the hello world basically is enlarged, right? The font size is now converted from your 25 pixels to 125 pixels. So that is how you can, according to your use, change the font size of a particular element, right? So it's up to you. Like if I want it to be 55 pixels, I can do it like this. So this is basically known as inline CSS, where you are going to style where the element is declared. Like hello world is declared there. In h1 tag, you have appended the style part. This one is inline. I hope that it is clear to you. You can perform multiple operation over there. If you have to do anything, you just have to use semicolon to separate one style from another. And you can use that. Now, first of all, this is good. Let's talk about the pros and cons of using inline CSS. Are you not thinking that right now only one line is there? Okay, so you have added the styles quickly. Okay, but suppose if there were multiple elements over here, like there will be an h2 tag, there will be another one h1 tag. Okay, then through inline CSS, if if suppose I want this height also with the same color red, which we have declared above in above section, right? If I want this same here, then in inline CSS, I have to write the code one more time. This is basically something which is not good because we have to multiple times write the code for it. Okay, like it is quickly accessible. I know that through h1 tag, whenever you are declaring it, you have just done the styling part over there. But if you do it multiple times, then it is time consuming. So it is not reusable. If you have appended this inline style to a particular tag, it is only limited to this particular tag. So this is not reusable, and also it diminish the readability, means poor readability is there. Not recommended for large projects. Why it is not recommended for large projects? Because there will be 100 lines of code over there, and if you do the styling part with inline CSS over there, then it will be time consuming because At each line, you have to define the style part, and that is something which is time consuming. So if we recap that what are the pros and what are the cons for your inline CSS. So the pros is that it is quick. Why it is quick? Because whenever you are initializing an element, there only you are styling that part. So that's why it is quick. Now there are some cons also, that it is not reusable. It is limited up to the tag, whatever you are using. Then poor readability. If suppose there are 100 line of code and I do the styling with inline CSS, then are you able to see that the main content which I have to see in my browser is basically overshadowed by the text I have written in style tag. So that's why it is poor readable. Now that's why it is also not used for the large projects. So when to use it? Whenever you are creating a website, okay, and you have to check with the small element. Like suppose this is my website I have created. Okay. When I will use inline CSS, if I have to check that which color will suit my website. Okay. So for that, from here only you can use inline CSS, and through that you can check with the changes over there. Okay. Only in that case you can use inline CSS. I hope that it is clear. Now we are going to move towards internal CSS. Inline CSS is done. Inline CSS means whenever you are initializing your element, HTML element, just style it in the same line. Okay, that is done. Now let's move to the second part, which is internal CSS. Now, internal CSS name is suggesting that it will be somewhere inside your code, but not in the same line. Okay, inline is same line. Internal CSS means within the code. So within the code, we basically use style tag. In the head section over here, we are going to do the styling part. So this is the change. What we are doing, the name is showing internal CSS. Internal means within the system, within the code. So within the code, we will move to head part. Okay. In this head part, basically, we define the style tag, and inside the style tag, basically, we are going to do our changes. Okay. This is something which we have to do. So what I am doing, this inline CSS is basically done. So I am just removing that from here. So make sure that every one of you will execute the code simultaneously with me so that you have a proper understanding of each and every concept, right? Now we are basically going to see about internal CSS. Internal CSS. Okay. For that, let me just take a demo h1 tag. Hey, I am a developer. Okay. Something like this you have done. Then another tag, suppose h3 tag. Hey, with this simple message. Okay. Now see, we have to style these things. So where we are going to style these things, we will base in internal CSS, we style them inside the head part. Inside head part, use this two style tags, opening tag and closing tag, and in between these, you have to style them. So first one, I am targeting h1 tag. Okay, what I have to do? I have to change hi, I am a developer from black to suppose gray. So for that, I am targeting h1 tag. Like this, we can target a particular tag. And here I can define the color for that line. Color. So suppose if I want it to be gray, I have done it, right? Then for separating it to the other styling part, we have to use semi colons, right? After that, I can change the font size. So change the font size to be 70 pixels. Okay. what I have done, I have targeted only this particular value through my internal CSS. This is my internal CSS, right? Let me just give more spacing over here so that you can have an idea that where we are doing the styling part. Inside this, we are targeting right now h1 tag. So h1 tag will be targeted and accordingly it will change the output. Let's see what we are getting. So are you able to see? Hey, I am a developer is coming with gray color because you have targeted that in your internal CSS. This is not inline CSS. Why this is not inline CSS? Because here you are not defining the styling in the same line as your element is declared. Okay, so that's why it is not your inline CSS. This is internal CSS because in the head section style part is mentioned. Okay, perfect. It is good that you have now idea about two types of CSS. First one is inline, another one is internal. Now let me do one more thing. Again, I am doing the h1 tag and hey, I am developer 2. Okay. Now, according to you, what should happen? In the styling part, we are targeting this h1 tag. So anything which will start with h1 tag basically gets converted to the styling, whatever we have defined inside style tag, right? So let's try to cross check it. What is happening? So yes, the same thing is happening over here, that whatever is there in h1 tag is basically changing, but other things which are written over there are unaffected. You can see H3 tag is also there, but you are not doing anything to H3 tag. Why? Because in the style part, only we are targeting this H1 tag. So this is something which we can do through internal CSS. Now, how it is different from inline CSS? First of all, by the declaration part, because it is declared in the head section. Second thing is that you are not targeting each and other tag one by one. At once only, if anything is starting with H1, then it will get styled according to your requirements you have given in the style part. So this is the benefit of using internal CSS. We will talk more about its pros and cons once we finish this part, like this internal CSS. Right now, I just also want to show you that if you have to change the part for H3, then how you can do that. So just declare H3 over there. Okay. Use curly parentheses and provide them the values you want to give to H3 tag. So basically, I want to add color to be blue, suppose. Okay. And font size to be 40 pixels. So font size to be 40 pixels. Suppose I want to give these styling to H3 tag. So what should happen? It will search in body that is there H3 tag present. If yes, then it will style it accordingly. So let's check it. Yeah, it is converted according to our style part. So these things happens as per your internal CSS. Whatever you are giving them in the internal CSS, that will basically come to your output screen. Now, what are the positive sides of this using the internal CSS? First one is it is better than inline because at once only you are targeting multiple elements over there. Okay. Then it when to use it when you are creating single page application. Okay, for not creating multi-page or large project, but if you are creating a single page application, then you can use this bit of code through internal CSS. Now, what are the cons for it? It is not reusable across the pages. What does that mean? That suppose if there is this index.html page, if I create another file, then this part will not be, this styling will not be valid to another page over there. That's why it is said that it is only applicable for your same page, single page functionalities. Okay. So let me one more time repeat that what are the pros and what are the cons for it. First one is better than inline and other one is useful for single page application. What are the cons? That it is not reusable across the pages. Now we are moving towards the third type of CSS. Up to now we have covered two types of CSS. First one is your internal CSS. First one is your inline CSS. Second one is your internal CSS. So I have a question, just respond accordingly that which type of CSS is defined inside the head section. Okay, so I know you know the answer. If they are talking that they are declaring the styling part in head section, then it means that it is your internal CSS. And if there is something, a CSS type in which wherever we are defining an element, there we are doing the styling part, then it is inline CSS. In the same line, we are defining them and in the same line, we are designing them. Okay. Yeah, just a second. Okay. So I hope that it is clear to you that what is inline CSS and what is internal CSS. Now we move to our third type, which is external CSS. The name is suggesting that external CSS will not be appended to this bit of code. It must be ex like outer part of this code, external part of this code, right? So yeah, you are right. If you are thinking like that, then you are exactly right because external CSS is another file for CSS which we create inside the same folder just outside this index.html scope. So for that, what we will do, we will write separate file for it. I am giving it the name as style.css. Okay. Right now, the you can see extension I am using is .css. So be careful while creating it. So styles.css is there. Now, if I have to write any styling part, then I can use this style.css over there. Okay. So I am just a minute removing my internal CSS. So as we can see also in the output page that there is no styling now, right? Now let's see that how we can append external CSS to the HTML page. So here is style.css. Okay, let's write the code. Suppose I want to change the h1 tag color to be green and font size to be 36 pixels, for example. So how to write the code? Same thing. Whatever you were doing in internal CSS, you have to just do that same. The difference is that is in the head section. This one is outside the page where you are using index.html. So color to be green. To separate one style from another, we use semicolon. Then font size. Accordingly, you want to change the font size also. So just change that. 36 pixels, for example. Now, font family, you can also use, not font size, font family. Okay. And through this, you can choose a particular font type for you. Like here, Arial and sans serif is suggesting. So I will go with that. So it will basically change the type of font you are using. Okay, this is one thing. Now, there is a question that this file is basically the external file for your index.html. Then how this index.html will come to know that I have to do some styling based on the code written in style.css? Means there is no relationship right now between index.html and style.css. Then how my code come to know that I have to style this index.html part based on that style.css? So for that, we basically link both of those two files, the style.css and index.html. We just link these two files. So how to do that? For that, we basically use link part. Okay, like link, then relation as a style sheet, and href as style.css. That part we have to add on so that we can see the changes. So let's try to write it. How to link it? You have to use link. Then this rel is equivalent to relationship. That what is the relationship? So first of all, that is a style sheet. Okay. Now what we have to define? We have to give them the path. So href, hyperlink reference, means through this file you can take the reference. And what is the file name? Style.css. See what is happening. Let me one more time tell you that what is happening here. First of all, we have to link the both of these files, right? Because there is no interconnection between them. So we have to establish a relation between them. And through for that, we are using this link part in link tag in HTML. Link, then provide the relationship that it is a style sheet and what is the path for it. So through href, you are giving them the path that style.css is the file name. So make sure this file name must be same as this. Okay. And now you are good to go. So you can see here, we are getting green color over there. We are getting that we have not done any styling part to h3 tag. So that's why hey is coming as natural. So let's also do some styling for that. How to do it? We can target it like this and we can change the color, suppose to violet. Okay. And font size to be suppose 50 pixels. Okay. Randomly I am taking any font size. Yeah. So are you able to see that the changes are now coming? So this is what we have covered up to now. Now I have few questions for you guys. That first of all, let me know that how many types of CSS are there. Okay, it is good if you are have an idea about that, that inline CSS is there, internal CSS is there, and external CSS is there. The second question is, in inline CSS, uh, is inline CSS better than your internal and external CSS or not? So basically, not it is not in best cases uses. Why? Because in inline CSS we have to write multiple times. With each and every tag we have to append the styling part. So that is something not good when you are creating a large project. Okay. Then in internal CSS, what we do? In internal CSS, basically we target this head section, and in this head section we add style tags over there, right? So style tags must be there, and in style tag you do the styling part. But in external CSS, as the name is suggesting, a external file will be there where you are writing your CSS code. So same thing is happening over here. We are writing our external CSS. Through our external CSS, we are creating style.css and writing the styling code part over there, right? And what is happening, that you can see we have to link both of those two file. Why? Because there is no relationship. How your code will interpret that he have to style it according to style.css. So to let them know that thing, you are linking both the files like this. This is the syntax where you are using hyperlink and relationship to establish a relation between them. Clear? Now, there are also some positive sides of using external CSS. So first one is it is reusable. Means you have defined a file, external file, and every time you just provide this link to another file. Suppose if I create index.html, index2.html, okay, and there also I want to have these same styling over there, then I can link that file also with my this particular style.css. So first of all, it is reusable. Code is clean. Why code is clean? You can see for styling only you are creating a separate file. So any user who have idea about the styling part, they can come to know, they can see the code that okay, for h1 tag you are doing this much styling. Okay, if they have to change something, then what they can do, that they can target a particular element, and accordingly if they have to change the color, they can change it from here. So it is very good for them to basically do some change. Okay, so it is reusable, clean code is there, and for large project, basically we prefer external CSS only. Okay, clear? I hope that it is clear to you. Yeah. So up to now, whatever we have covered in this 30 minutes period, just have a look on that part. Just make sure that there will be no doubt regarding these things. Just go through once at your end and everything will be clear to you. And then we will start with what is selector and what is ID in CSS. That will be our next topic. Okay, I hope that everything will be clear to you and you have gone through all these things. Now, let me tell you that what are selectors and what is ID in CSS. So basically, see what is happening. This h1 tag is here, another h1 tag is there, right? But if you are styling them, then you are using a single h1 tag. Okay, the only a single time h1 is coming, and you are styling it accordingly. So the h1 which is targeting your main elements in the index.html tag with the h1 attribute over there, that is known as selector. This h3 is basically a selector. If suppose I create another paragraph tag, okay, and this is a paragraph, then if I basically wants to change the styling of this and I want to select all the paragraph tag over there for a particular styling, this is another paragraph. Okay, so what basically why we are using selector? Because at the same time, if I want to target both of them, I can do that easily with a selector. The name is basically telling that through this you can select all those things which are having these properties, mean this which come inside this particular tag. So here the p is also working as a selector. So if I want to add some color functionality over there, then I can add it like this, and we are good to see the changes to our web page also. You can see this is a paragraph and this is another paragraph coming with the brown color or chocolate color, whatever you have. appended over here. So what is selector? A selector is basically something which targets all the elements whatever you are selecting over here. Means all the element which have p tag over there are selected through this single p and curly parenthesis. This is known as selector. Hope it is clear. Now this is selector. If you want to select multiple things with the same name, then it is good. But see, right now, what is happening? There is one thing that why we need ID. Selector part is done. But suppose I want that this paragraph to be of brown color, but this paragraph of suppose blue color. So that is not possible when we are using selector because it is only targeting like through selector you are targeting paragraph tag, right? So whenever they will see paragraph tag, accordingly they will style it to brown color, right? What I am saying that through selector, carefully listen this. Through selector, whenever there will be a p tag, it will append this styling to all those p's paragraph tags, right? But suppose as a user, you don't want that every paragraph will come with the same color. You want it that first one will come brown, second one will come blue. Then how you can do that? So in that case, basically, we use ID. ID is a unique identifier, or you can say unique value set it for a particular tag through which you can design it, through which you can style it. So let's try to see the concept of ID also. But before that, let me just tell you that what is a selector, the definition part of it. So selector is used to select HTML elements so that we can apply uh, styles to them. Okay, that is done. Why we need it? We have already discussed that because CSS we need selectors because CSS by default don't know that where to add styling, right? We can't write that do the color to blue, font size to 36. We have to select a particular area where we want all these things. Okay, in that case it is important that we can tell them that this is our target element and at this place only I want this styling to be done. For that we need CSS. Okay, for that we need selector in CSS. I hope that it is clear. Now, CSS selector is done. We come to ID part. Like what is ID? Let's do that. This is element selector through which you are selecting a particular element. Now we will discuss about class and we will discuss about ID selector. So first discuss about ID selector. So when to use an ID selector? So ID selector is used to style one unique HTML element. Means if I want to select only this particular h1 tag for my styling part, in that case, if I'm using external CSS, in that case, I will use a ID. How to use it, I will let you know. How to call it, I will also let you know that. Then it will be more clear for you that how things are working. Okay. And for each tag, ID must be unique. It is the same like a roll number that it must be unique for each and every student. Not every student can have the same roll number. Same thing is happen with ID. If you are defining a tag with their ID, then that ID must be unique. Then only there is the use of that particular ID. Okay. So let's try to have some idea about ID selector, right? Let's do this now. Suppose I was talking that as a user, I want this paragraph tag first line to be brown and second line to be blue. So how to do this second line to be blue? In that case, I use a selector. I will assign this a new ID. ID name can be up to you that whatever you want to do. So I am providing this as ID to be main title. Okay, or you can use any like example. Suppose I am just giving it a name example. Okay, I am giving you the ID example. What you have to do, you have to mention them ID and you have to provide it example. Now we will move to the style part. Okay, what I will do here is I will basically call your that particular paragraph tag with hash example. What is the ID name? Hash example. So to call a ID, you have to use this hash symbol that basically tells that you are targeting a particular element through that ID. And inside it, you can define the color. So what color you want? We want the color to be blue. Okay, I'm only doing this thing. Okay, let's see what is happening through this. Are you able to see that now the first line is coming through the brown color, but second one is now with blue color. How we have done it? We have done it through the ID select ID part. Okay, we have appended the ID to the second paragraph tag so that it will be easy for me to target that particular ID and accordingly to change my paragraph line, my paragraph font, my paragraph color. Is it clear how we have done it? We have assigned an ID over here and in style.css, we just have called it and how to call it using a hash symbol. Okay, I hope it is clear. And it is essential that you provide each and every tag a different ID. Not two IDs can be same. This is something you have to remember. One ID for a single element. Okay, never repeat the same ID, and IDs are also case sensitive. That is something I can let you know that suppose if here you are using capital E, okay, and in style.css you are using small e, that is the meaning of case sensitive. Okay, so if I refresh this, are you able to see the blue color is not coming here? Why it is not coming here? Because IDs are case sensitive. So you have to use capital E also here to get the changes. Okay, perfect. I hope that it is clear to you. What we have covered in the second part now. We have seen that what is selector so that our CSS come to know that okay, on these particular selected elements, I have to append styling part. That is clear. Then also if you want to use ID selector, then when to use ID selector? When you are targeting a single element. On that particular single element, you want to add some another styling. So for that, you can assign them an ID and call those ID with hash symbol. So here we are also doing that same thing. And IDs are basically your case sensitive part. Okay. Now what we are going to see? We will see that how we can use class. Now what is class? That we will cover. Okay. Right now we have seen ID part. Now we will see the class part. So let's do that also. Okay. Up to now you have seen the IDs example and you are doing that. But suppose to this H1 tags. Okay. Like suppose there will be one more H1 tag. Hey, I am developer 3. What I want that these two will come as suppose green and this one will come as uh, you can say whatever color you want, but just for these two I want the same color. Okay, and this will be any default color, like it will also remain black, no problem in that. But I want to have these two colors to be same. So now what is happening through your previous code, that h1 tag, h1 selector is there, and you are targeting all the h1 tags through this selector to be brown in color, like that is happening over there. But now I want only these to be there with the color brown, not all the h1 tags to be with brown color. So how to do that? So for this you can use class. Now what is class? It is same as your id, but id basically can be implemented for a single element, means it will be unique for each and every upcoming element. But this is not the case with your class. Class can be same for multiple element. How to access that? I will let you know that. So we can give same name to multiple class. Highlight, and here also I define a class, and here we will give them a name, highlight. Okay. Now see what is the motive to use class. It will be clear when we execute this bit of code. What I am doing through id, I have just targeted this paragraph tag. Okay. Through class, class can be what is basically the, just a second, wait, it is coming here. Okay. Through class, I can merge same styling to multiple elements. That is the main motive of using class. So let's see what I am saying. It will be clear when we do this thing. How to access class while using dot operator. Okay. Dot, then the name of class, whatever class you were using. So I will use highlight, background color to be yellow, and font size to be bold. These styling, they have done it by default. So same thing we are using. Let's see what is happening. First check that. See, wait, background color is yellow. Okay. And let me also change the color over here. Color to sea green. And I have to use a separator. Okay. Just observe the changes. What is happening? A background color of yellow is coming. Okay. These two things are exactly the same. Like here I am a developer 1 and here I am developer 2, have both have the same styling. But this third one, here I am developer 3, it is also h1 tag, but the styling is different. How it is different? Because in your code, you are only giving the class identity to both of them only, not the third one. So basically, whatever you are doing in that dot highlights part will append only to upper to h1 headings, not to every h1 heading. Okay. And how this id is basically different from class, because id is applicable only for one element. But here with class, you can have class, multiple elements with the same class name, so that the style can be appended to each and every element where the class is defined. This is basically the concept of class selector and id selector. I hope that it is clear to you. Okay. Yes. Now let's see about what we can do more with styling part. Another part of styling is like selector is group selector. Group selector means, see what is happening right now. If I remove all the styling from here, what I am doing, I am removing all the styling from here. Now this index.html is without any styling. All is black, right? If I want to select multiple tags at once, like I want to style h1 also, I want to style h3 also, and I want to style paragraph tag also. So this is basically we can do through our group selector. This is known as group selector because at once you are telling them multiple elements to be styled according to you, whatever you want to give them. So I am just changing the color to be blue. Okay. So just see that what will happen. Everything is changed to blue. Okay. How? Because you are selecting multiple tags at one. This is known as group selector. Clear? Okay. It's good that it is clear to you. Now let's see one more thing in styling. Then we are good with this part. Okay. So what basically we will do, that there is a tag called div. It basically creates a block. Okay. And what I am doing, I am initializing a paragraph tag over there. And this is a paragraph inside a div. Div basically provides you a block section. Okay. Means inside this block, there is this paragraph tag. This thing we have done. Now, outside this div part, I am again using a paragraph tag, and this is outside paragraph. Just carefully watch and everything will be clear to you. This is outside the div section. Okay. See what I will do. I just want that this paragraph tag will have color, suppose pink, and this one will have color black. So how to do that? We can use descendant selector in that case. What does it mean by descendant selector? That if I remove everything from here, that in div there is a p tag. Just only change the styling for it. Color set to be green, suppose. Okay. What I am saying through this line, that there is a div. Inside div, there is a p tag. Only on that p tag, you have to change the color to green. Only the p tag which is there inside your div here, this line, only this I want to change to green. So for that, we use the descendant selector. So you can see only this one is coming as green. It is not quite visible. So what I will do, I will basically change the color from green to red. Then it will be more visible to you. Okay, let's see. Okay, so are you able to see that this paragraph is inside a div is now of red color? How we have targeted that? We have targeted that in div part space is there, then p tag. In div, the p tag which is there inside a div, only change the styling for that. That is known as descendant selector. I hope that it is clear. Yeah. So what we have done up to now, let's have a recap. Okay, wait. So in the first part, we have covered what are the type of CSS, inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. Then in selector, we first of all come to know that what is a selector, how it targets different HTML elements. Then what is ID selector, what is class selector, what is group selector, and what is descendant selector. These are few types, but ID and class is important one that we have already done in explained detailed. Okay. So now we will move to the another topic of CSS. So I am thinking that we can do one thing. Like we have seen the CSS selector also, we have done the type of CSS. Now we can check that what are the font, text, and color styling in CSS. Okay, let's do that part. Okay, means let's have some styling regarding fonts, regarding text, and regarding the color part, and how we can add borders and how we can add background to our code. That we will come to do. So just have a 2 minute break. Just go through all the things we have covered up to now, and then we will start with the new topic. Okay. Okay. So let's try to now do some basic styling also. Okay. So first of all, I will write a paragraph tag and give it a class ID, and then create a anchor tag and give it a, you can say, a hyperlink reference. Okay, and then we'll try to style them accordingly. So just removing all this code from the body part. Okay, now what I will do from starting, I will give them a h1 tag, and what we are doing here, CSS fonts and styling, so I will give it that heading. Okay, this is the heading I have done to them, given to them. Okay, now what we will do, we can create a div, and inside that we will create a paragraph tag. So let's do that. We have created a div, and inside this div, I am creating a paragraph with the heading that this paragraph demonstrates font, text, color. These styling we come to know, background and border styling, and border styling. Okay, let's see one by one that how we are doing this. And also I want something that I can create a anchor tag. Href is equivalent to hash, means on clicking on this particular tag, the page should not go anywhere. Like we were in HTML session, what we have done, we were using here href equals to www.google.com, means whenever user click on that link, then it will redirect it to Google page, right? But if we are using hash instead of a link, then that means that you only click that particular link, but it will not redirect to you any at any other page. Okay, so here the main motive for using this is so that I can let you experience that how hover styling has been done. So for that, basically, I am creating it. Hover me, something like that we have created. Okay. Now let's try to write some styling part. So in style.css, let me go to style.css only. And here we will write our code. So first of all, I am targeting all the body part. Okay. Means through this body, we can target the body. Here we will add the font family. Okay. Font family to be, I can go with Arial and sans serif. Okay. And we can add the background color up to your preference. You can add any background color. So I am going with the light color. Let me just see that which will look good. Okay, let's go with this. Arcellum. Okay, this is looking okay. Okay, let's go with this. Okay, this thing is done, that how to set the body color. Through this, everything like your screen. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, through this, everything what you have there as your output screen will convert it to the same style you are giving in body. Okay, now let's target h1 tag. What is there inside our h1 tag? Let's see. Okay, h1 tag is CSS fonts and styling. This one is there. So let's style that. So I want it to be that this part comes to the center. How we can do that? Let's do that. So we have to use something called text align in CSS. Text align means you want to align the text to the center of your screen. You can align it to, suppose, left, you can align it to right, you can align it to center. And accordingly, you can have to set the color to, suppose, navy. Wait, color to be navy. Okay. And in that also, if you want to give some letter spacing, you can provide that. Letter spacing means between each and every letter, how much difference will be there. So I am giving it 2 pixels. So let's see, is there any change? Okay, see, through letter spacing, there is a 2 pixel difference between each and every letter. Okay, that is not looking good. So I am removing it. Yeah, just removed it. Now you can see CSS fonts and styling is coming. Also, this background color is not looking that good. Let me just give it a reflect of pink. Okay, this I have set it. Okay, now it is looking nice. Okay, and also change this color from uh dark blue to this one. Okay, let's see. CSS fonts and styling. Okay, this is not looking good, but at your end, you can just give a color up to your choice. Okay, what we have done, we have aligned the text to the center. Letter spacing was not looking good, so I have removed that. Now come to another part. H1 is also done. Now let's design your paragraph text accordingly. Okay, first of all, I want to increase the font size a bit. So I will go with font size to be how many pixels? 20 pixels, for example. Okay, that I have done. Then I want to change the color. So change the color to be, suppose, What color should be it? Blue. Okay. Then you can also provide a line height. Means right now, see, this is coming like this. I am just providing them the line height parameter. Just see that what will happen through it. So I will give it 1.6, 5 or 6 up to you. Then see what is happening. The line height basically enlarge these through the length part. Okay, if I increase it a bit more, then you can see that it is just enlarging a bit in the height part. So that we have done. Now we have seen text align, right? So we have seen the text align center part. Now I am just making it to align at right. See, it will start from right now. You can see it is now aligning towards right, means it is ending at right. If I want to make it to left, I can also do that. How to do it? Just use left over here and you can see it will start from left. Okay, that is good. Now, if I want it to be center, so I can also do it to center. Now it is in center. Okay, perfect. Everything clear. Now just let me change this color to black only. Okay. See, CSS font and styling. This paragraph right now, see, hover me is not working. Okay. And why we have used hash, you can see on clicking this, it is not redirecting to anywhere. It is uh, redirecting me to the same page. So that's why we use hash with the hyperlink. Okay. Now this is done. Then we have done something like in index.html. Right now this div is created, right? What I will basically do here, that I will add a class to this div. Let the name of this particular class to be box. Wait, box. Okay. And now I will style it according to that particular box class so that you can have an idea that how to use different type of selector also. Okay, so how to access a particular class using dot operator. Okay, we have done it. Now I will write the code. First of all, I want that in this particular section where this div is created, means this block is created, the paragraph is there, the hover section is there. I want to style that block. Right now, if I do the inspect part from here, okay, see, there is my div. So in div, paragraph is coming and your anchor tag is coming. So I want to style this div only. I want to style this div only. From inspect, you can see this div is basically this particular box. I am going to style this. Okay, let's do this. So first of all, I want the background color to be changed for this particular box. So setting the background color to be suppose violet, and violet will look a bit okay. Let's see. Is it changed? Yeah. So for this particular box, we have changed the color to violet, but violet is not looking good. So I am just making it to be some more like white. Okay, let's see. Okay, okay. For example, like we are not creating a website right now, so it is good for understanding. Okay, what I have done, that I have selected that class box, which is targeting my particular div element, and through div we are creating a box. So for that, background color has been changed. Perfect. Now what we can do, oh wait, we can do multiple things. That I want the border of that box to be 2 pixels and that should be solid navy. I can also define the color. So see what is happening. For that box, a border is appended, right? Now it is looking good. That what I have done, background color we have already selected, then give them a border of 2 pixels and that should be solid navy color we have provided. So it is now giving a good highlighting part. Okay, that's perfect. We have done it. Now, right now, what is there? The borders are rectangle, means they are sharp borders. I want it to be bit, you can say curvy. Okay. So for that, I can set the border radius to be few pixels so that it will become in circular shape. So setting the border radius to 10 pixels, suppose. Now see what will change. Are you able to see? Now from edges, they are a bit circular instead of sharpened. So this is also looking nice. Okay, this is done. Now let's target a tag, anchor tag, because in that hover section is there. So I am creating it. Color will look red, I guess. Doing the color to be red. And let's see what has changed. Those over me is coming with red color. Okay, perfect. And I want to align this text to the center. Text align to center. Why I am doing it to center? Okay, wait. I have to use a semicolon and then text align to center so that it will look good within the box. So, okay, wait. Oh, yeah, I am. Let me refresh it. Okay. So as this hover me is inside anchor text, so we can't use text align over here right now. We can use text decoration and we will do it to none. Okay, wait, text decoration and that is none. Now I will change the hover part over there. Like now, right now, nothing is working on hover me. So I will make that working. So just give me a second for that. How to do it? A and then hover section we add like this. The hover part we can add like it. And on hovering, I want that its color should change from you can say right now the color is red. Okay, so on okay, red is not, hot pink is not, basically I will do it black. Okay, see what is happening. Right now we have created something like this. We have text aligned it to center. We have created a div have a class box. Inside that this color syntax was there. Paragraph tag was there. Now hover me is there, right? And how to style the hover part, that we have used in and on anchor tag, as the anchor tag is having my hover part, right? So I am appending that on anchor tag, the hover functionality will come, and when a user will hover that particular tag, then what should happen? The color should change to black. So see, right now by default it color is red. As soon as my cursor will move to hover, it is changed to black. So yes, it is working fine. As soon as someone is hovering over it, it is changing to red, from red to black, and as soon as it is pass away from there, it converts to actual color red only. So this is how we can do our hover part also. So this is basic CSS which we can do so that we can have a proper idea about how to do the styling part, how to set a particular border radius, how to create a different box, and anything which you have to inspect, just right click on your system you will see inspect part over here. Okay, at last inspect is written over there. Just click on this inspect, and here you will come to see each and every section. Whatever the code is there, you can get the code from here. Okay, now your head part is there. In head, these things have been written. Okay, then body part is there. In body part, as soon as we are clicking on this H1 tag, you can see it is highlighting that in H1 tag you have written CSS font and styling. As soon as you click on this div box, you can see they are telling you that inside a div box there is a paragraph tag. This is your anchor tag, and this is your div. Through div, you are creating a box. Clear? Then this is the script. Means on JavaScript, whatever you have written, that is coming over here. Uh, so through this, you can inspect that which element is where. Clear? I hope that it is clear. So before wrapping up this session, just recap one more time that what we have done. First of all, we have already covered HTML. We have seen different tags in the previous sessions, right? So today we have started with CSS part. First of all, we have covered inline CSS, then internal CSS, and then external CSS. You all have the idea about all three of them, that when to use which one and which one is the most efficient. So external CSS is basically something which we use a lot for the large project. Internal CSS is also good, but it is only applicable for single page styling. If as soon as the page changes, the styling will not be there. So that's why we ignore that type of styling when we are creating multi-page application. Okay. Then after that, we have seen that what is selector, that through a selector, we basically target our elements, right? That we have seen. You have the idea about ID and class also. So that you can easily do now through ID and class, how to target different element, right? That we have seen that ID will be called in external CSS through a hash, you can say, character, right? And through dot operator, you can call a class. Okay, that is also clear. Then we have seen group selectors, that if we are using comma in between all the selector, then they are known as group selector. And at once you are selecting multiple attributes. Perfect. After that, we have seen descendant selector. What was descendant selector? That inside a particular div, if you are targeting a particular element, then you can just write it like div space that element tag. Like suppose if p tag is there, then that p tag. So it will basically change your p tag inside the div only, not outside the div part. Okay. After these things, we have seen about how to text align, how to make the border radius. What is border radius? How to make a border. So that we have done through this part. That text align, you can align it to right, you can align it to left, you can align it to center. Perfect. Then there is border. How to create a border? You have to provide the size of the border, and accordingly you have to provide them the color for it. So if I change the pixels, the border, you can say, will increase. So 5 pixel border is looking like this. If I make it to 50, if I make it to 15, then accordingly the border radius will increase. You can see this is something like this is coming as soon as I make it to 15 pixels. So it is good if you are trying it at your end, because you are going to learn only when you are going to implement these things at your end. Just try to see that why these things are not working, how, what should happen when I do this. Only that is a way to learn quickly. Okay. Then this border radius, right now it is 10 pixel. For rounded region over edge, you use border. So I am making it, suppose 20 will be quite Okay, let's show it 20 pixel, and you can see it is looking like this rounded corner from there. Okay, so I am just wait, it is 20 pixels only. That is done. Border I am creating only for 5 pixel. Now it is this looking like this. Okay, good for the knowledge part. Then how to append the hover section, that on A I want to add the hover part. Hover means as soon as cursor will come to this part, it will change the color accordingly. It will change the font size accordingly. Let's try to see that it will change the font size for it or not. So for that we have to use first of all a separator than font size to be 10 pixels suppose. Okay, so what should happen that as soon as I hover over here, the size should minimize. Okay, it is working fine. Okay, so make it uh, a bit large, 100 pixels. What should happen as soon as I hover over it? It is maximizing. Okay, so this we can do through the hover part. Clear? Okay, I hope that it must be clear to you. So in the upcoming session, what we can do that we will just create a simple, you can say, page or a registration part. Okay, so that it will be good that we can implement some practical part also, and then we will start with the JavaScript part. Okay, so that's it for today's session, and I hope that you have enjoyed the session today and learn all the concepts whatever we have covered up to now. So thank you so much. We'll connect tomorrow, and we'll create some HTML plus CSS based web page and then move forward towards our JS part, JavaScript part. Okay, so thank you. Happy learning.